Hey guys, welcome to Waste Not Wednesday. We go live every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Mountain Time, and we take junk, leftover projects, things that we got for free, and we turn them into home decor that we sell at jamirayvintage.com and in our retail location located in Lehi, Utah. We are going to be doing a myriad of projects here. So Zeb, I'm just going to go over it so you know what we're working on. Zeb has a high chair that we thrifted at Goodwill. I can't remember if it was half off day, but it was either $8 or $4, and it needed some glue repair. I am working on it. I have no idea when I bought this platter. I'm going to paint this. I don't normally paint platters, but it has a giant chip here, a giant chip there. It's heavy, almost like ironstone, and it does have some staining on it. And I'm not sure if it's stoneware or ironstone, but the chips are big. It's not marked. So I'm going to show you how to paint porcelain because I know that that is a common question that we get. And then in between stuff, I'm going to be working on some sample boards for our new subscription stencil that's available to order now. And when I get hooks, I'll turn those into coat racks. But I just wanted to have them finished so I could get them up on the website so people can see examples of the stencils. And then while I'm thrifting over the next few weeks, I'm going to get like some, you get like thrift old hooks and stuff. It's cheaper to do that usually than buy them new. So. Yeah,
we can usually get like 5 or 6 hooks for $2 or $3 at the Deseret Industries thrift store, versus like $3 or $4 per hook at the hardware store.
Yeah. So if you guys are resellers, thrifters, repurposers, whatever, if you need hooks, always try thrifting first. And then, you know, if you have to buy them new, you have to buy them new. I'm going to move my stencils over to the side. I just got those washed. So would you pass me the primer?
I just spent half an hour scrubbing this thing and I found some more crusties. I'm like, oh, this was so dirty.
Would you put my primer and my brush over there? Would you pass those? Yeah. So I've already primered the back. You can see this is very matte. I used Salvation Solution. This primer is the bomb. It is, in my opinion, as good, if not better, than shellac-based kills. If anybody has ever used shellac-based kills, it stinks. And you have to be super careful because it's not soap and water cleanup, and it's just a royal pain in the derriere. And this Salvation Solution, it's stain blocking and it makes things stick really well. You usually need at least 2 coats. I think I'm just going to do 1. I might do 2. We'll see. But anyways, I'm just going to prime this to cover up the staining. And then also there's like this chip here. So if this hurts your heart that I'm painting a platter, I apologize, but
I don't think it's old. I got it because I thought it would make like a good centerpiece. It's perfect for like putting a potted plant on, and especially if you have a pot that, you know, water may occasionally run out of the bottom of it. It's perfect for like putting on your centerpiece on your table, or you could build like a vignette off of this too. You could do all kinds of stuff. We especially like to use old rusty pitchers to put plants in. Old enamel from Europe. Like Jamie's got some big ones up here that she uses that may or may not be watertight. So it's perfect for that application.
It was $3 at the thrift store. So I'm not like feeling guilty about that. I feel like that's the best way to play. We don't know that it's old or not. I think it is ironstone just by what it looks like under that chip. But at the same time, it could just be stoneware.
Yeah. And it could be from like the 90s, the early 2000s. Who knows? All right, so I have 3 big scoops. I'm using Trellis Rose in the new bespoke milk paint. You can get that at the website too. But I've got 3 big, just basically teaspoon scoops in here. I'm going to add warm water. So this is probably just a little bit more than a sample because this is a big high chair. And while chairs look spindly, they do have a lot of surface area with all the rungs and things. And I'm going to let it dry with these clamps. I didn't do a ton of repair off camera. I just had 1 rung that was loose and I glued and clamped that. And then the tray on the top was coming loose. And I glued that up. So we're going to give that a little more time to dry because that's only been drying about half hour, 45 minutes. I actually did that before I started scrubbing. But in all honesty, this is mostly for looks. If you were going to use this as a high chair, I'd ditch this top end and just use it as like a tall booster seat, like push it up to the table or something. It doesn't have all of the safety things that new high chairs have, and there's a few requirements. So just know this is Decor only.
I was like, our legal team would like you to know it is for decor only. Please do not place a child in here as it does not meet today's modern safety standards.
Yeah. On that note, it would only take 2 slotted screws to get this off, and then it's just a booster chair.
Yeah, we use them all the time without these on them, and then they're just.
I have 2 examples. Let me go grab them real quick. I'll get this milk paint mixed up in a second, but let me show you.
We don't have any little kids at this house anymore, but we have a lot of cute little cousins that come over, and so we have high chairs at our house for the cousins. This one is special.
We painted this one with a cousin, and we took her to the shop, and she picked out what transfer she wanted to do on it. So it's pink. She wanted it to be pink, but also fish.
So fun fact, we're sitting there and I'm like, are you sure? I'm like, look at all these flowers. And she's like, nope, fish. And like, you cannot change your mind. So this is petticoat pink with the fish transfer. I can't remember what that transfer is called. It's the one that has all the eggs, all the mushrooms, all the fish. It's got 1 page of floral. Caitlin will probably link it.
Yeah, I'm sure she'll link it here in a sec.
We painted this up with her. I actually have some cute pictures of Zeb and her painting that. And yeah. And then we have another one that was already painted that we just took the top off. And they just work really great. And honestly, an 8-year-old could fit in that.
So no tray, and it scooches right up to the table, and it works really well.
If you mix DIY paint and milk paint, it will not chip because you're changing the chemistry of the paint when you're mixing paint. Can you mix milk paint and DIY paint? Yes. Technically, as far as I know, and I don't know this for other things, you can mix any water-based products. So this one we cut. This one's interesting. We cut the front of these off so that way it could slide closer to the table.
Yeah, so this is similar situation.
We didn't paint this. I bought it secondhand.
Her little brother sits in this when he comes.
Yeah.
But anyway, so this will give you a good idea of what you can do with them if you just pop that tray off, and then, you know, it still has its little hole up here for the tray, but we never had the tray for this one.
Jack actually fits in that too.
Yeah.
And sometimes we actually have a couple sets of cousins that come over because Granda's kids come over. And then Zeb has a bunch of nieces and nephews. They don't live here close, but when they come, we like to have chairs for them. All right, I have already dried this. I prefer to let it dry naturally, but we don't got time for that. So second coat of primer is going to go on. And then I'm actually probably going to set this aside, let that second coat dry naturally. And then we'll get to doing some stenciling because I pre-painted my boards. Oh, Milat is also sold out at Iron Designs. Sorry, guys. But
we probably have a few.
No, she said we are sold out. Yeah.
Oh, man.
It's a couple months. But anything that's sold out, you can go ahead and click notify me when back in stock on the website, and you'll actually get an email when it gets back in stock. Please use that feature. We pay for it every month, and people love it.
It actually works really well. I use it on a few other websites too. There's a few things I've wanted this spring that have been sold out of places, and one just came back in stock, and it'll arrive Friday.
Oh, what was that?
It's stuff.
Is it gun stuff?
It's the last piece I need to assemble everything.
Zeb is a hunter, a shooter, all the things. And he's been having fun putting things together, getting ready for the hunting season coming up. So I like to harass him because he has spent a little bit of change recently on it. It's okay because
that much.
It's okay because then if I need something, I just get whatever I want. I could have got whatever I wanted anyways. Let's be honest.
In the grand scheme of things, it's not a lot. It's not
change.
Very much.
Speaking of something we bought that's very sad, we found out that Hallman is liquidating. And that's who we bought our stove from that had still not been shipped. They told me 2 weeks ago it was in and they would be shipping it, but still don't have tracking. And on their website, there's just one page that says, we'll try to fulfill orders. If we can't, then you'll get a refund in 6 to 12 months. Mind you, we spent almost $4,000 on the stove 6 months ago.
Yeah, we've already been waiting 6 months.
So I don't know if I don't even know if I can put in a claim with my credit card company, but if they don't get back to me, I'm going to get with Amex.
Yeah, usually you have like 90 days.
See if they'll let me put in a claim on that. So I don't know what we're going to do with our kitchen. So stay tuned for what we'll do with that.
Yeah, we just got this news like yesterday.
Yeah, we already have my sink, my faucet. We have all the hardware for Zeb to build new cabinets. And the cabinets are kind of falling apart. They're the cheap Home Depot ones.
Yeah, 4 years at the Ray house has been hard on them.
So
all right, so melted milkshake is the consistency you're going for. You can go thicker, you can go thinner with milk paint. You have control over that, but I would recommend, especially if you just get like a sample size, work up to your consistency. Like start thick and then go thin, because it can get thin on you really quick. Just a few drops of water can change the consistency of your paint really quickly. This chair is really dry, so I am not going to be putting any extra bond in it. You guys are going to see me paint the bottom, and then we'll let that glue dry for a little bit, and then I'll tip it over and we'll paint the top. So this is a cool feature. It has an adjustable leg rest here, foot rest, that I actually really think is cool.
Yeah, I've never filed a credit card claim, so I'm not really sure how it works, but we'll see. They're like, we're going to follow all the laws of liquidation in our state of Texas. I'm like, well, yay for that. I'm like, does that protect you more than it protects us? Because I feel like it might.
Also, I guess that's like a good savings plan, right? Like, can't touch that for a year.
I just don't know how people can do that. And they were blaming all these supply. I'm like, we bought it 6 months ago, and you've been telling me that you've had it. They have said that they were going to ship it for the last 2 months. So I did email them, and I was like, I'm hoping that you weren't lying and that you actually do have my stove and that I will be getting it. But if not, I want my money back now. The
real hard part is that in the price range we got it at, there's not really any other stoves we like that are similar to that. They're either like way modern or just not as big as we wanted. Or the other catch is, if we do end up getting this stove, now
we have no recourse if it breaks.
Is there no warranty? Can I, even if I'm not doing warranty stuff, can I not get parts to fix it? Like, where are we at? So
it's like really a first world problem. It's like something we were looking forward to. We've had a bunch of like things going on in the background, so it's like something fun. The other thing that we're working on is trying to get access to our 40 acres. I'm like, we have two things right now that I'm just like, it would be really great if they worked out: the stove and we don't have an easement to our 40 acres. And before, we were just accessing it on an old road that's been there for a while.
I had tried to contact the people for about 6 months before we bought it and when we first got it, and no one ever blocked the way off. It was never barricaded or fenced. We went back there, we looked at it. There were no trespassing signs, and now all of a sudden they've got it blocked off and there's no trespassing signs.
And it's the only way to get to our property.
They did allow me to go up there and get my tractor, but when I was trying to contact them, the parents had owned it, and they actually both passed the year we bought it, and so it was put in a trust, and now the kids all have to decide if they want to let us back there or not. We do have a legal recourse that we can take, but I'd rather just be like, hey, can you just let me go back the way I've been going for the last year and a half before you decided to not let anyone back there? So
we'll keep you guys posted on all things that are not going our way in the world. But anyways, I don't know how long
it hasn't been a huge deal, because it was like December 8th when they actually met me out there to get my tractor and then locked the gate again. And so it's been like winter, couldn't really get out there anyway. It's off the grid. So.
They haven't. So Hallman, back to the stove, Hallman has not filed bankruptcy. They're doing a voluntary liquidation. So I don't really know.
Maybe in 6 months they like get things sorted out and they're still in business, but
I want to find the middle on these.
I think they're an Italian company.
No, they're an American company, and it was built in Italy.
Oh, they make them in Italy?
Yeah, Hallman's based out of Texas.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I knew it would take a long time to get in because everybody says that about them. I just didn't anticipate that they would completely go out of business. But, just my luck. Just that, proof that sometimes people are like, oh, you guys, so many good things, blah, blah. I'm like, proof that things happen to everybody. Is it the end of the world? No, but
we do have
we've invested a lot of money in this kitchen because Zeb's already bought all of the drawer pulls, and we have the sink and we have the faucet. And the problem is, without a stove, we don't know how to configure the
only thing we needed. I need the
cabinets.
stove so that I can do the countertops. The only thing we needed to configure was I needed that stove piece so that we could get exact measurements on sizes to build the cabinets, and then we needed to buy countertops. But we have maybe 6 feet of countertop back here, maybe 8 if you count back behind where the sink is, by the time we add that new stove. So we could probably get a remnant piece of marble or whatever Jamie wants to use back there, and it wouldn't cost us much to get it cut.
5 3/4. Sorry, I wasn't doing math well this morning, so just finding the center on here.
Hold on, I'm gonna let Cody in. He's
back to projects. Sorry for whining at you guys today. I'm using the subscription pack. You get 6 stencils. These are going to be slightly different than the ones you're getting because I didn't have registration marks on my prototype. So when you get them, there'll be little registration marks. And then helps you line up your stencils easier. I'm just going to have to eyeball it. I'm going to find the middle here, decide where I want to do this. And then it comes with 6 different patterns that are repeating. So patterns are really popular in design this year. So I thought it'd be fun to design these little stencils for flips and whatnot. If you're new here and you don't know what I'm talking about, we came up with a subscription service where you get a set of 6 stencils every month. And the pricing is really good. I think it's like $13.95 plus shipping. If you sign up for, and the shipping is $3.95 if you sign up for recurring. And then if you don't sign up for recurring, I think it's like $17.95 or $18.95. It's more expensive. You can do it one time only because not everybody wants to do a recurring service, but it's a really good deal if you do the recurring, because this set would sell for $20+ if it was just listed on the website. And it's fun. You get a new stencil set every month that you can use. So does Cody like his new bed?
He seems to.
Yeah, he's done good.
Rex took over his other new bed.
Yeah, I bought him another new bed, and Rex stretched it out, which is fine. Rex usually, so I bought Rex a big bed and he didn't like it. So I got rid of it after they chewed it up, and I haven't bought him another big bed. So he stretched out Cody's other bed. But at any length, the vet said it's normal. He is part mini poodle because he's a mini schnoodle, which is a schnauzer poodle. And he said the smaller you go with poodle, the more anxiety they can have. And it doesn't always show up till later. And he gave me trazodone. So he gets a trazodone 2 hours before bed. He has slept much better the last few nights. I thought I was going insane. Last night was actually a really good night. He didn't bug us at all. So that's pretty great. Felt like I had a newborn. All right, I got the middle stenciled. I'm actually going to just stencil the middle on each of them and then come back, and that'll give my paint time to dry. If you see what I'm doing over here, I'm offloading. That's so your stencil's not too juicy and it doesn't go under the edge. So if you have that problem with stenciling, you have too much paint on your stencil brush. Another helpful thing is you need a quality stencil brush. We have JRV stencil brushes, and they are made because I was frustrated with the quality of stencil brushes I was finding. Do we sell high chairs? Yes. So this high chair will be in the shop. This will not be online because it'd be too cost prohibitive. And
we would have to use a courier to ship it, and that's like $400 just to. And
we're probably going to sell this for maybe like $100 in the shop. So if we were going to sell it, ship it, we probably have to sell it for like $600 or $700 to pay a courier, and that's just probably not worth it. Anyway, so hopefully we are not all over the place today and making you guys go crazy.
I mean, a little bit all over, but that's normal. They're used to us.
Also, back to the subscriptions. They ship out as we get them in. So like this new subscription, I should have my first 100 that I ordered today or tomorrow. So those will start shipping out. And then as you get billed, that's when your subscription is mailed. There's a few people from last month's, because it ends on the 12th. There's a few people from last month that haven't shipped yet because we went over the initial amount that I ordered. And so I had to order more. So those will be shipping out. And you can sign up for these stencils until the 12th of April, and then it swaps over to the next month's stencils. Same thing with the subscription papers. Also, if you're wondering, the color that I painted these is Sweet Pickens Milk Paint in Kent. I did not use any bond because it's raw wood. I will be circling back to Kent and probably painting that platter.
I thought that's the bespoke.
Oh, what did I say? Sweet Pickens. Sorry, bespoke milk paint in Kent. I should have eaten breakfast this morning. Anyways. Bespoke milk paint in Kent. I'm going to circle back to this color and add some bond in it and paint the platter. I don't know why these are all not the same length. This is 11 3/4.
Because I've shaved some off of some of them.
Oh, okay.
They were the ends and I cut them in half.
All right. $5.875. What will you top the high chair with? I think we're gonna seal it in
I've got
dark oil wax.
Yeah, I've got dark oil wax out. We've been loving it on the milk paint. It's like a really great kind of aged look, and it's a really good durable sealer too that works well with the milk paint. Just kind of works well with all paints, but particularly the milk paint. It just kind of sits down in there and all the crackle and chipping, and it looks really awesome. Also, all these rungs, guys. There are a lot of rungs on this chair.
Oh, Kimberly said these are going to be her birthday gifts. April 1st, is that your birthday? We have an April 1st baby at our house too. We're actually going to California over her birthday. So not next week, but the week after that, we'll have all of our videos done. So in 2 weeks, Waste Not Wednesday will be pre-recorded. So we'll make sure that it's awesome for you guys because we're going to be in California. And we'll probably film some in California, and then those videos will be out the following week. We really need a break. The whole family needs a vacation. It's one of those things. And it's not even like an overly planned vacation. The only thing we've done this far is rented the Airbnb, and that's it.
Well, when you have the ocean there and you don't go to the ocean more than maybe once a year, it's pretty easy to just relax and hang out by the beach. And even though the water will be cold, I feel like you could be in July and the water's cold in San Diego. So it's not that big a deal.
Vicky says this is a pink she can get on board with. Wait till you see it with the dark oil wax. It's just so pretty. We actually are going to have another project with this pink color and dark oil wax that I think you guys are going to like on tomorrow's video.
We loved it so much.
Finished it.
We loved it so much. We're like, let's do it again.
Yeah. We're starting to get our videos ahead so we can be ready to go to California. So tomorrow's video is already finished except for the sign out. So we've already done that project. So make sure you guys watch that because it's good. This is 11 and oh my goodness, this is like some serious math here.
All right, I think I got these rungs good. Make sure we give a good swipe at the bottom here. This milk paint is sitting really nice and flat on here. It's pretty much raw. We're basically down to raw wood. This chair is old enough. I'd say probably mid-century, maybe even previous to that, based off of the screws in it. Might even have been like in the 40s. It could have been newer than that, but I don't think so.
There's a spot you missed on the lower back rung.
Oh, yeah, there's a bunch. I gotta.
Like just underneath this part, but on the front.
Oh, yeah.
I might have.
There's going to be a few spots I miss. I'm going to have to come back and touch up, flip it upside down and look. But we're not flipping it just yet because it's still gluing.
And we're already shipping out the new papers for the subscription as well. Zeb's dropped off, I think, about 100 of them. The papers have been super popular. We have, how many subscriptions did we do last month? Like 300 or something?
Close to it, yeah.
Close to 300. A lot of people have said that they've enjoyed the subscriptions because they're helping them get their projects done. Because they're getting new products every month and then they're going through their stash and finding ways to use them, which I love because I love it when people get their projects finished.
Well, and even if you just have like a little frame or something that you need or that you find at the thrift store, they'll fit in an 8x10.
Kimberly says, I have to ask, if you're painting a set of furniture, could you use milk paint in a sprayer? Yes, so you can use certain sprayers. Is it the Critter?
The Critter sprayer, it's basically a siphon sprayer.
You have to use a siphon sprayer, otherwise it will stick to all the parts of your, like all the piping in your sprayer. So you can't use a regular paint sprayer, but yes, you can use it. Make sure you strain it so there's no clumps, and you can use it. We actually have, if you search Jami Ray Vintage Spray Milk Paint, the videos should pop up. And even though it's not with Bespoke, this is the same formula as Sweet Pickens Milk Paint.
I think it's a Cricket sprayer. That's what it's called.
Oh, the Cricket.
you called it a critter. It's close.
Critter.
And it felt close enough that I was like, I don't know, is that right?
It's
or
a
not?
critter sprayer. Now I got to double check.
Maybe critter. You could be right. It's been a long time since I've sprayed milk paint. Like,
no, it's a critter.
Like when I say a long time, probably.
And you can
like
pick them up
years.
on Amazon. You could try your local hardware store. So this was 5/8 again. So that one's like right there.
But yeah, we sprayed it quite a bit. It has similar results. It still will chip and crack. So if you don't want that, do extra bond. This probably is not going to chip or crack much. I'm not really seeing a lot on here because this oak is so raw and dried out.
The best paint if something is going to live outside would be cottage color. It is rated for outdoors. Just make sure you're doing multiple coats. I mean, obviously, if you leave it in like outside all winter or it's like raining nonstop on it, nothing is going to survive that, even factory finishes. But we used cottage color on our front door at the shop and it's held up.
I mean, they make a marine varnish that holds up pretty well, but even that after a few years, you got to redo it.
But cottage color is going to be your best bet. It has a built-in sealer. Okay. I'm almost done with, I got 2 more of these to do.
Sorry, you guys are probably just getting like my midsection. Oh, you can see my head in here. Okay.
We're getting there. Now, if these look a little funny, I'm going to repeat the pattern. So these are going to be completely patterned all the way across. Then I'm going to give them a good distress. And then I'm going to seal them up with oil wax. And then these will be finished until I can find the hooks that I want to put on them. And then I'll sell them. Sometimes sometimes people don't start projects because they're like, oh, I don't have this, that, or the other thing. Like in this case, I might not have started these because I'm worried, oh, I don't have the hooks. But I know that if I have these ready to go, I will make sure that I get hooks. Oh. And then all I have to do is when I get them is screw them on and the projects will be finished.
And once we find hooks for that, it's going to take 5 minutes to put hooks on there.
I mean, it'll take you 5 minutes. It would probably take me longer.
So since we've been talking about it, let me bring over the new, this is April's subscription paper. And you can get it until April 12th, and then we'll be on to May's paper. So there's 4 sheets every time. Every month you get 4 new sheets. We got a barn with some bicycles. We'll probably use these in some projects soon. I don't think we've used them in a couple, but there's some spring floral for you. Get some cows in a spring field, some jerseys.
I might use some of those like papers in those frames. Sorry.
And then this is
that I
like
bought yesterday.
These will fit in 5x7s, or you could, a couple projects on these.
So I bought like 3 or 4 frames. So maybe I'll use those in those ones.
You can do a one-time purchase on the stencils and these if you just saw some that you wanted, but it's cheaper if you do the subscription.
It's easier for us if people do the subscription because then we know what to expect and how much to do. So that's why we offer the discount to encourage subscription members so we can plan ahead. Caitlin, I'm using the stencils from the subscription. So this is this month's subscription set. I'll show you guys up close what these look like when they're done so you can see the all over patterns. I think these would be great. Also, a lot of people like to stencil the sides of drawers. So these would be good for that. And let me measure this last one. I will only have to measure this middle ones. And the reason why I'm measuring, and this one probably wouldn't matter, but like on this one, I didn't want like the pattern in the middle to be like 2.5. So I just got the middle in them for all of them. All right, so this is 11. Stay in school, people, and do your math so you don't have to use your calculator on live TV. Oh, that's the 11. I know which one that is. I'm going to do that. Redrick is working on the Pythagorean theorem, and we're going to have to do some research online and find him some tutorials because he needs help with it. He's like, I just can't do it. I'm like, brah, you know that and if you have a teenager, you probably say brah. or you don't because you're better than I am. But that's what my kids call each other. But anyways, I'm like, we'll help you. Or your dad will. You know who taught me a lot of math is my brother-in-law, Daryl, Caitlin's dad. He lived with us for like a year because they moved from down in Phoenix up to Prescott where we lived. And so my niece Desiree, whose birthday it is today, happy birthday, Desiree.
Happy birthday.
She started junior high up there, and her dad lived with us during the week and went home on the weekends. And Daryl is who helped me with my math. Bless that patient man, because I did not like it. He's also very logical. So sometimes he would be like, I could tell he was like, I don't understand why this isn't making sense to you. I'm like, it's just not. Surprisingly enough, even though I didn't do great in math, I mean, I did pass. I did math for a lot of years because I did mortgages. So ratios and percentages and all kinds of things. But that made sense to me because it was like applied math. And those are the kind of things that make sense. But when it's like some random obscure, I don't know how this is being used, that's hard for me. All right. I think I was too juicy there. Hopefully it's not bad because this is the one that would probably not look good juicy. Oh, I did all right. I love this one, this fleur-de-lis one.
Oh, we missed a whole spot.
Some of these are remakes of existing stencils that we had on a larger scale, but this is completely new. I love this pattern. Caitlin said that bra or bro is said a lot. Yeah, Caitlin has 2 boys, my cute little nephews. Spencer is the same age as Jack, and then Jonah is just like 13 months.
You know who says it more than the boys at our house is Eliza.
Eliza, but she hangs out with a lot of football boys.
It's true.
But and then Jonah's just like 13 or 14 months younger. I don't remember. Okay, I'm gonna set these aside. Let's go back to our platter. Then these will be really dry and I can do each side. I just didn't want to smear my stencil.
So I'm getting 1 coat out of this because the wood is so dry and I'm not getting any chipping. I will probably do a light distress on it just to make sure I don't have any loose paint chips with the milk paint. But so far it's just soaking it right up.
Do you have Bond out here? No,
I do not.
Okay, I'm going to grab that and mix some into my Kent.
Okay.
I was debating what color to do this platter, but I have just enough milk paint left in here from my little project, and I didn't even mix up that much. But I have just enough left that I can do this. And once you mix up milk paint, you have to use it all. It does not keep. Well, in the powder form, I've never known it to go bad. I don't want to say indefinitely, but pretty much. If you don't add water to it, your powder formed paint is not going to go bad. But once it's mixed up, you have a couple of hours. So I'm going to use it because this is Waste Not Wednesday, waste not, want not.
You can put it in the fridge for a day or 2, but it's going to start to smell and it also thickens up.
Well, it'll get gelatinous. And I actually have like added water and mixed it up and made it work. But Renee says we were raised with percentages and ratios because my mom's a shopping queen. That is actually true. I can calculate a discount like nobody's business. So clearance shopper. I always wanted to be a professional shopper, and now I guess I kind of am, which is fun. So I'm adding Bond to this. It's 1 part mixed up milk paint to 1 part Bond. I don't think I'm going quite that thick on here with the Bond because I've used primer. So you probably could get away with just using the Bond and the milk paint because that makes things stick like crazy. But I always like to be like quadruply sure on shiny stuff.
Quadruply.
And it's easier. Once it's been primed, like the milk paint's just going to cover better. It's going to stick better. So why not? I have the product. I know it works. And you don't have to use milk paint to do this. Like if you were wanting to use DIY paint or our cottage color paint, you could do the same setup with doing the primer first and then the paint. Why didn't you paint the high chair green so it could go for a girl or a boy? Because pink high chairs sell better.
We will sell this pink high chair pretty quickly in the shop.
I mean, I can't guarantee it, but I have painted high chairs other color than pink, and pink high chairs just sell best. And I like them.
Oh, do you need some love this morning, Rex?
Do we ship paint and papers to the UK? Yes. So you should just be able to go to JamiRayVintage.com, and the products that we can ship to you will be on there. We typically can ship more than what the website shows, but if it's not on the website, it just means that we need to know what you want so we can calculate it. Like thrift haul items, things like that, they're so oddly shaped that it's on an individual basis. We have to figure out what box it would go in the weight, and then give you a shipping quote. But on the website, if you're in the UK, you should just be able to order what you need. If you have any questions, though, info@jamirayvintage.com. All right, I'm just mixing up my bond, and my milk paint is actually pretty smooth because it's been sitting here for a minute. You can also use an immersion blender to mix up your milk paint. But I typically just use a fork. Anybody that's been here for a while just knows that's kind of my jam. I do own an immersion blender for milk paint, but I haven't used it in a while. So this is the color Kent. It's a smoky blue gray that we love. And yeah, I'm not sure if I'm going to get all the way to transfers, but we'll see how far I get on this project. Because I am not going to heat gun this.
We got like 20 plus minutes.
Okay.
Should be fine. Just go set it out. The sun is shining, trying to come out. It is a little cloudy out there, but
I will paint the backside of this off camera. It is already primed. I'll probably smooth out the edges to make sure I don't have any drips, but I'm not painting the back on camera. It's not necessary for this application for me to show you that. You guys can use your imagination. You could also do this exact same technique on metal. Like if you had a metal platter, I know a lot of people paint like old silver plate. I do not, but I will paint old metal. I don't begrudge you painting old silver plate. I just don't, because I love silver plate the way it is. And it's actually very in vogue to have tarnished silver in your decor. It is getting to be quite popular in the cottage world. I've always loved it, but it's actually coming back. Metals in general, brass, copper, silver. Okay, I got no drips that I can tell. I don't want any drips.
All right, that glue looks like that's holding strong. Just pulled that clamp off.
Sweet Pickin's milk paint is food safe. You could probably serve hot food on it. This is not going to be a food platter. I guess you could, but I'm actually going to seal this with probably dark oil wax. I haven't decided what I'm sealing with. But this is just going to be for looksies, because you cannot submerge this in water. I don't know what would happen if you scrubbed it. You probably could wipe it off with a damp cloth. Okay. I'm going to put this outside in the sunshine, and then we'll work on some more stenciling.
Are you going to continue those patterns?
Yeah. That's why I have 2 projects.
So this is what I was talking about, all these rungs on here, how I mixed up probably a little more than a sample of paint because it's tall and the rungs take more to paint than you think. There's a lot of surface area there, and we haven't even gotten to the top, and I'm about halfway done, and I still need to do the tray. Let's see if that glue there will hold. Let's get all these clamps off. Yep, looks like it's been on there long enough. Usually takes about an hour for wood glue to start setting. If it's hot outside, you might be a little faster. I like to give it a solid hour and then 24 hours before hard use.
Linda, if we stopped painting everything, what would we do? I guess we could just stare at you with the wood furniture on the camera. Did you know that they've been painting? A little fun fact, since we're talking about paint and stuff, they have been painting furniture since the medieval times. So it is not a new
probably
thing.
Before that.
Yeah.
It just didn't make it.
It actually was a sign of wealth to paint furniture. All right.
Yeah, everyone had like oak furniture in their house.
Kind of wish that this already had the registration marks. You guys are going to have it easier than me, but I think I've got it lined up right.
Okay, I'm going to try to stay out of your way. I'm going to tip this down so I can.
Caitlin says, not everybody likes things. So, but that's okay. And that is true.
Yeah, you don't have to like it. It's not a requirement to watch.
Hold on. Somebody asked if we ever painted enamel. No, I haven't I haven't painted enamel, but I would assume you could. And Lisa says, I used it on metal yesterday and scratched it. Should I prime it first? Yeah. So first of all, it takes 30 days for paint to cure completely. So if you paint something and then it scratches right away, it could also just be that it didn't cure all the way. But yeah, primer is going to make shiny surfaces, the paint adhere a lot better. And some things I even will lightly scuff sand and then prime if it's super, super shiny. Just kind of depends on the use that it's going to have. But Salvation Solution, if you're wanting to paint shiny stuff, it's just going to make your life a lot easier. But don't go scratching it for like the first 30 days. Like let that paint really cure.
All right, I'm hoping this does. I'm going to see if I can scooch this.
I'm new to this. Do you sell the bond?
Yes.
For the paper? I think you're talking about, are you talking about decoupage medium? That liquid patina is what we use. And yes, we do sell it. The bond is what you add to milk paint. Extra bond is actually the full name, and we sell that as well. But for, we use crystal clear, it's a whole name, crystal clear chandelier liquid patina. That's what we use with the paper. And people always ask, is it the same as Mod Podge? It is not. It is a lot better.
My paint's thickening up. Had to add some water to it.
I actually did pretty good. Look at that pattern. Look, Zeb, look at it.
I knew you could do it.
If I can do it, I promise you anybody can, because I am not a patient person. I know you're all shocked to find that out. Oh,
I am going to paint the bottom of this seat, but I'll probably do that later.
Do I need to sand up Formica? Yes, if you have Formica, I would scuff sand that.
220 grit.
220 grit, sand it so it gives it some tooth, then use Salvation Solution, then paint. That's like really hard to deal with, and you're going to have your best turnout that way. So I'm just trying to make sure I'm lining this up right. Slide it over. Does that look right? I think it is. It's not perfect. I am going to distress this. Bond, I don't know if you can add it to other paint to make it stick better. I've never tried it. As far as I know, it's formulated for milk paint. So I guess I could try it and see, but I haven't used it. I get paint on my own. Good. Aunt B says Bond, extra Bond. I like James Bond. You are funny. What am I making, Gloria? I am making, these are actually just sample boards for the new stencils, but I'm going to eventually put hooks on them and make coat racks. I just don't have the hooks today, but I'm getting them all finished. So all I have to do is screw them on when I find the coat racks. And I'm just going to probably thrift them. Wait, oops. Shifted. We have, oh, stop shifting. We had a bunch of coat racks or coat hooks, and I sold them.
And they were left over from a craft kit. And as soon as we put them on the website, they were gone.
Yep. It's fine because other people got to use them and they got out of my, you can't hoard supplies forever. Okay. That turned out good, surprisingly, even with all the shifting. Okay, so here is this first pattern complete. I don't know if that's upside down. Maybe it goes this way. I'll have to know the flowers. Oh yeah, that's right side up. Okay. And I'm using DIY paint. I'm out of vintage linen, which probably would have been something I'd used, but this white linen. This is vintage linen. So it will need to be sealed, but the milk paint needs to be sealed anyway, so I'll just do it all at once. Okay, flower one.
So the brush I'm using is the FA40. You can cut with it. It does have a chiseled edge, but it's working really well on all these rungs and little spaces and around all the corners. It's not so small that it doesn't cover pretty quickly on all of this, but also it's small enough I can get in there and work around all the rungs.
I am struggling. Which side did I need to match this up to? And why isn't there paint over here if I did the whole thing?
It's because this is your sideways.
Oh, sorry. I'm good.
But it might be. I think
no, this is it.
I think that's
this
it
is
right
it.
there.
Sorry. Don't worry about it. This is why registration marks are important. So you guys will have better luck. All right. Good. Your stencils are fantastic. Have you ever done with bees? I think so. I think Debbie has one with bees.
We have a couple small bees. I think they come they're like in a pack. I don't.
So Debbie Beard.
I don't know what they're called.
Debbie Beard from DIY Paint designs for me her own line of stencils that we manufacture, and she has one with bees on it. We have over 200 stencils. Gloria says, I have an old high chair and for some reason I'm afraid to paint it. The only thing I think can be hard about high chairs is like all the rungs and stuff. And if they're super shiny, this one was old. It probably lived outside. Like the finish is all gone. So it's much easier to paint because it's just soaking right up.
Either that or it got wiped down a ton because it was pretty crusty. Whatever kid was in here last was a mess.
I have a feeling it was more than one child. You could also spray them with a paint sprayer and that's easier. All right. Oh, I did good. Okay. Look at me.
The nice thing about this milk paint is it does lay pretty flat. It doesn't have a self-leveler. It's just the nature of it. It lays pretty flat and you don't really get a ton of brush strokes unless you start building a lot of layers of paint.
Julie, the shipping does go down per item. When you order more, obviously the shipping price goes up the more you spend. But if you calculate the per item amount, it is less expensive per item if you buy more. Because some things like there's just like a minimum to the amount that it's going to cost to ship something. But if you're shipping multiple things to one address, then while the price goes up, the price per item goes down. So hopefully that makes sense. Caitlin, I think, dropped the link to our shipping. So it'll give you all the pricing information. Oops. I'm definitely gonna have to wash these. I'm building up a lot of paint on them. Make sure you wash your stencils because if it builds up too much paint, especially these detailed ones, it'll actually change the detail of the stencil because the paint builds up. Okay. Ta-da! That's a really pretty all over. It looks a little bit different because this paint on the edge is still wet and the paint in the middle is dry, so the colors are a little different, but the pattern is good. Kelly says, I'm impressed by myself. I completed 8 projects the last 2 days, and I used JRB papers, B and Barn. That's a good one. I was on retirement notice, so I grabbed a few.
That's a lot of projects in a couple days.
Okay.
Pretty soon, you're going to have to get yourself a YouTube channel and start showing people what you're doing.
What is a recipe for washing stencils? So what I like to do is I set my stencil in the bottom of the sink where it's flat. And I put like dish soap or whatever detergent I have handy. And then I will take my stencil brush, because I need to wash it too, and gently swirl the stencil. And then it's easier to scrub off. But obviously don't abuse your stencil brush. These are not made for scrubbing your stencils. That's just how I do it. And then if you need to, you can soak them and put paint on them and leave them for a little while longer if your paint's just not coming off. If you're using a built-in top coat paint or acrylic or anything like that, you need to make sure you're washing your stencils more frequently. The DIY paint, it could be a month from now, and this paint would still come off if I soaked it. Just kind of depends on what you're doing.
I'm going to have to mix up more paint.
I think I got this one where it's supposed to be. Would Liquid Sunshine be a good base color? Then do Golden Ticket? Yes, you could do that. Golden Ticket would go well over Liquid Sunshine. Or I've used it over, is it Summer Crush?
Yeah.
Summer Crush?
Summer Crush works
There's
well.
So many names of paint.
And also the reds.
Yes, you could also put it over Marquee, I like, or Carnival Red. Back in the day when they used to do gold leafing, they did red and then they did gold over the top of it. So sometimes we'll do that. Because you will see sometimes on gold leafing stuff, red paint peeking through, and that's why. Oh, also pro tip. I'm not worried about it on this one, but there's like this little piece of the stencil that's sticking up there. If it's clean, you can take it and put it on a flat surface, cover it with a lint-free cloth, and quickly run an iron over it. Don't melt it, but quickly run an iron over it, and it will flatten out the pieces of your stencils. Because JRV stencils are made way thicker than your traditional stencils that you're going to pick up at the craft store or you're probably used to using. They're almost like construction cement grade. And so they can hold up to abuse, which is why I made them, because if you're a maker like us, you don't want something you can use once and then it's ruined. It's something I want to be able to make a lot of products with. But that does happen on the details. Sometimes they will pull up, especially when you're washing them. So just be careful.
Whoops.
I had it just perfect and then I shifted it. Okay. Is the video pre-recorded today? No, we're live.
Nope, we're live right now.
We will be pre-recorded in 2 weeks because we're going to be on vacation. But we love you guys so much that we're not going to leave you without videos, even though we're going to be gone. We're just going to do lots of extra work between now and then. We're starting now to get ahead on our videos, so that way by the time we're ready to go, we've got extra videos all filmed. Let's see. So oh, I missed it. There was a question about stencil brushes. I ordered Eden. It's a beautiful color. It is pretty.
Yeah, Eden.
Oh, Julie says, so should you only use the stencil brushes on a stencil? No, you can use these. I've used them for doing detail painting, the smaller ones. Wax. And we also use them for wax. You shouldn't go back and forth. Like a wax brush should only be for wax, stencil only for stencil. But you can totally buy these and use them for wax. I especially like them for colored waxes when I'm just wanting to put them on small areas. Because if you use a giant wax brush, you're going to waste so much wax on small things. So definitely get yourself a set of stencil brushes for stenciling and a set of stencil brushes for waxing. And if you're like on a limited budget, just buy 2 stencil brushes, one for one, one for the other. And then as you find that maybe you need another size, you can add to that.
I'm having to mix up more paint. I'm going to do a little extra on something like this. I would say a pint would do great for, or a sample would do great for like a chair or a small end table. But since this is a high chair, it's taller, there's extra rungs, it's got the tray. You're going to want probably a pint to finish, and you'll have extra, but a pint would be what I'd start with. Because nothing is worse than running out of paint mid-project and having to pause it.
What would you seal DIY paint on leather boots? I'd probably just seal them with clear wax.
Solid wax.
I wonder if you could use like
you could do the
boot.
Oil wax.
Well, what if you use like a product made for leather?
Like mink oil?
Mink oil, maybe?
That's what I use to condition all my leather boots, and it keeps them waterproof.
I've not done it, so I don't know, but mink oil might work. I mean, I don't think it's recommended to paint leather, so I don't know how well it's going to hold up. I've painted leather chairs, and I sealed them with, I think, clear wax. Cortrina has my chairs I painted a long time ago, like a few years ago with DIY Apothecary, and I sealed them with clear wax, and they've held up well. But I also don't think they're like daily driver chairs. You know, like shoes take a lot of abuse, so I don't know how well that would hold up.
I mean, I have to redo the wax on my boots like pretty frequently.
Oh yeah, for sure. So hopefully that answers your question. I think
so. That's like a hard question because that's off label, like not as intended use for the paint. So I mean, you probably could get pretty decent results with wax.
We have to paint this top
or
here.
yeah, I got a bunch of stuff I need to paint. I'm mixing.
You're doing good. Right, what are we doing on time? Oh, it's 10:58. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that I'm getting my platter finished.
I'm going to try to get this whole thing painted, but we're not going to get to the distressing because it's got to dry. It's not dry.
I mean, we'll see what happens. We could go a little bit long. If Caitlin has somewhere to go, she could hop off.
You guys are just going to have to imagine me painting this top part because it's well above. I guess I could angle the camera up, but then you wouldn't see what Jamie's doing.
Stenciling. This is taking a minute.
Those are all looking really good, though. Have you shown them close up? Do you need me to show
yeah,
them close up?
I have. I think I'm going to stop on this one and put another coat of paint on my platter so it can dry, because then I have 2 more. So maybe we'll just go over so we can get our projects finished. Okay. Ta-da! That's really pretty. I love that. Okay. Those 2. Look at me complimenting myself. I'm like, that's really pretty.
You're like, oh, it looks so great. Don't act surprised.
Not everything I do is perfect. Oh, Cody, stop. Yeah, Cody, stay. Stop barking. I'm just getting my project. I got to put another coat of milk paint on here. Caitlin says she's here for the long run. All right.
Okay.
All right. All right.
Shouldn't be too much longer. I mean, I'm going to be, we'll just wait till Jamie's projects are close to done.
No, I might have to put a 3rd coat.
Because I'm going to be a while waiting for this to dry, distressing it, and then oil waxing. Like I'm going to have to come back to this once it's dry. I mean, the bottom half is dry, but I don't want to distress half and then come back.
Well, what you can do if you're done painting is start distressing.
Oh, I'll be till you're done painting.
Oh. I was going to say, I got to distress and oil wax. I got to
do the whole back and the top of the tray. Didn't look like a ton of detail on this, but it's.
Oh, chairs.
Let's see. 1, 2, 3,
chairs
4,
are a nightmare.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 rungs on this chair.
I should tell people if they don't like painted antiques, watch out for tomorrow's video.
Yeah. Or watch it.
Or watch it.
Let us know. Let us know what you think of it, how it turned out.
Like a train wreck, you can't look away. I mean, in my defense, the antique was given to me. It was free. And it was probably thrifted by the person that gave it to me. So they wanted me to paint it. All right, this is going to go back outside. I think I am going to have to, well, I don't know. I might 3-coat it, or I might just leave it and let it have multiple layers showing through. We'll see. Haven't decided. Maybe I'll just lightly distress it so some of the white comes through.
Oh, there you go.
And go with it.
Make it intentional. Cody, stay inside.
Just a good boy. Do you want to say hi to all the people on YouTube? Tell them your cute little sweater. He got his spring and summer cut, and he's feeling pretty cute, but he's cold till he has a sweater. All right. Leslie says, painted velvet bunny, anyone? That was the worst.
The painted velvet bunny.
Are you putting a stencil on the platter? No, I'm going to be using transfers on the platter. And I think I am going to go with that idea. I'm going to just stick with 2 coats, and then I'm going to lightly distress it. And then I'm going to I'm actually planning on using the fairy tale floral transfer because it has a bunch of different elements and I'm hoping I can build something that I like. We'll see. Karen says, do you want to give my Yorkie a haircut? I don't think Zeb does. He loves our dog. That's why he cuts them. They don't love leaving the house.
Also, I'm cheap.
Yeah, cheap.
Because every time we take him to the groomers, they just buzz him down anyway.
Well, if we took them more often, they wouldn't. But
I'm not taking them every month.
That's
what more often looks like.
They said that they should be done every 4 to 8 weeks. I'm like, holy moly. So we do them here. And it's probably our fault, but our dogs do not like to get in the car. And so like to spend 4 or 5 hours at the dog groomer, they are not happy about that. They would rather, they're more comfortable with Zeb. We bought some special shears for doodles or poodle mixes, which is what our dogs are. And they worked really well. In fact, when I took Cody to the vet on Monday because he wasn't sleeping, and because he had a little bum thing that I was worried about, and they took care of that too. They told me that it looked really good. They're like, we can tell a hack job. And she's like, you guys did really good on him. Well, I can't take credit. Zeb did it, but it really the right shears. You cannot buy cheap shears for these dogs because their hair is special. They're special.
Well, Cody's hair is like really soft and fine. And Rex's is more
coarse,
like bristly, coarse. All right, I'm going to paint down here at risk of getting some on the floor. But it is what it is.
It's all right. The floor needs to be scrubbed and sanded anyways. What type of clippers do you use? So I don't know the brand.
They're the Kong wireless ones. They're
Kong wireless, and they're made for poodle doodle breeds.
Yeah.
Or I guess doodle isn't really a breed, but for curly hair, we got them at, is it PetSmart?
Yeah.
We just went into PetSmart and they have a whole display, and then the display breaks down which ones work for which kind of dog. And these ones were also a lot quieter, which when you have dogs
really quiet actually
with any kind of anxiety, that's good. And I think it was like $130. They have a non-cordless one that was a little less expensive, but we decided to go with cordless.
Actually, like that was like the best thing. It was worth every penny, not having to chase a cord around.
Yeah. Anything that can make it easier for Zeb, it makes it easier for the dogs. So, Karen says, taking my Yorkie today. Well, so my dogs like to do everything together because then the one left at home has anxiety because they're always together.
They really don't get apart much, like ever.
Yeah, and our golden doodle, he's actually not even golden, he's black. But anyways, our golden doodle is big. And so between the two of them, it takes them a long time to get groomed. All right. Let me get back to my project here. This one, I did not do a ton on the edge, so this is going to be interesting lining up. Like I got too light with my stencil. Where's the edge? I think that's right. I guess I can kind of see also where the paint stops. It's either regular grooming or all of the vacuum cleaners for double coated. Oh, Husky. Yeah, ours are single coated. And I do need to really give the house a good like vacuum because even though they don't really shed, they still lose hair like humans, and their coat was so thick. There was like fur balls, but you can like sit in our house without getting dog hair all over you because they're hypoallergenic. And there's people that like to shame you for not grooming your dogs enough. My dogs live a happy life. They are no happier now than they were when their hair was a little bit matted. They don't care as long as they're washed regularly. We brush them as good as we can, and then we give them lots of loves and snuggles. And I use Paul Mitchell on my dogs. They get good shampoo and conditioner. Oh, that one worked out well. Painted cement birds, what do you suggest for outdoor sealer? Karen, I would use Cottage Color because it has a built-in sealer and it's rated for outdoors. If you've already painted them, then you'd probably need to go to like your local hardware store and ask them what they recommend because I don't carry one and I'm not sure what they would need. Okay. Just line up.
All right, I think I got this whole thing painted. Oh, there's a spot I missed. I'm gonna be chasing spots on all these rungs for days. We're counting this arm for the tray as a rung. All right. Let's see. I'm gonna pull the. That's mostly empty anyway. I'm gonna pull the camera back so you can see the whole chair. Jamie, can you let me know when it's all in shot?
Go back a little more. There you go.
Okay. Got it all the way in there. It is sitting down. The arms aren't level. Imagine that. Probably handmade.
Okay. Ta-da! Do you want to show them these? I'm going to go grab my platter. And then all these need, if you're letting that dry or whatever before you do anything else, all these need to do is sand them. This one's the most dry, and then they need to be dark oil waxed and wiped back.
Okay.
Oh, I did back in the day when I sealed stuff, I do remember using Kills Clear for outdoors, but I can't say that it was that fabulous. It worked okay.
All right. We're gonna walk away for a minute from this. I think with it's got a couple little light spots here and there with one coat, but I'm gonna distress it anyway. No chipping whatsoever, which I'm not surprised. The wood was really dry.
Amazing, Zeb.
But
are we gonna stencil the chair? No. You could. That would be cute.
Yeah, we could stencil on it, but I don't have any current plans to stencil it. I think I'm just going to leave it the color. And this would be good with like one of those repeating patterns, maybe along the top and this back
in the middle
strap here. That could be cool. Or even on the top of the tray. So let me put this on. This is my favorite feature, this adjustable footrest.
You can use marine varnish outside, but I have seen that yellow, so you got to be careful.
Reasons I think this is really old. Look at the hardware on here. Like, look at how old this wing nut is. Like, they do not make them like that. This is like, it's like bent into shape that way, and now they just cast them and have for years.
Oh yeah, it's for sure super old.
Oops. Need the other half of that.
So if you were doing that for a child and you wanted it to be food safe, you could just seal it with hemp oil or tung oil. But we are doing it for decor. I
mean, this is good. This dries hard like a resin. We have it on our countertops in our island. Once it's cured up, it's fine.
I don't think any kid's going to be eating it, but.
Okay, I'm gonna go set this outside. You need me to distress those?
Yeah. They need to be distressed and oil waxed. What is the difference between using oil wax and the tub of wax? They're just a different product. One you brush on and the look is different. And oil wax, I feel like sits all over. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. It just looks different. But you brush on the oil wax and you use, well, I guess you brush on regular wax too.
Yeah.
It's liquidy.
It's a liquid versus like a solid.
Well, the other thing, the big difference is oil wax dries hard like a resin and it can be painted over later. Traditional like soft wax, you have to remove it to paint it, or at least you should. Will tung oil darken the paint color? It depends on the paint that you're putting it on.
But yeah,
how porous is it? Typically, it will.
We used it over the top of some Cottage Colors, which has a built-in sealer, and it's not porous at all. And it still tinted it a little bit. It wasn't nearly as drastic as like the DIY or the milk paint, but it still did.
I didn't want to heat gun this, but this is where we're at. Oh, that looks good. I really want to get all the edges really good.
Okay.
The best part is when we're all done, I'll be able to take pictures of these and then I can put them on my website so people can see the stencils in action. So
I like this fleur-de-lis one best, I think.
I love it a lot too. It's so pretty. What's the best grit sandpaper to prep a door that has originally been painted in gloss paint?
So I would hit it with probably like an 80 grit and then come back and do 220. Oh, like a quick run of 220. If it's latex, it's going to gum up with the 220 really fast because it's going to heat up before it comes off and it'll just mush it around. So I would go careful with 80 grit and then come back with 220 and smooth out any like squiggle marks from the 80 because the 80 is pretty coarse, so it will have like sander marks and things.
Well, hey, Cortrina's on here. I was just talking about your leather chairs that you bought from me that I painted. Those leather chairs were sat on by some kids. One time, I had a kid came over. They had just gone to a soccer game, and they literally had cleats. They sat in the chair and then put their cleat on it. And Maria, who used to work for us, was like holding her breath. It was fine, but like now we try to put lots of stuff on the chairs so people don't sit on them. Kids don't know.
He's probably tired.
Because like a long day of soccer. I have a glob of paint I should have smoothed out there, but now I've just got to dry it. And I'm having to move this a lot because I don't want to bubble up the primer underneath or the milk paint.
All right, let me see what brush do we have that I want to use.
This is risky business because this paint is so fresh. But I think I'm going to go ahead and try to put transfers on it. And then not put it over there because that needs to dry more. And then I'll lightly sand it. So if you're just coming here, I'm painting this platter because it had some big chips in it. And it's been in the garage because I didn't know what to do with it. Actually, I need to touch that up right there. Gun it.
I guess this is the brush. This is the one.
Yeah, you can use milk paint in a sprayer, but it needs to be a siphon sprayer, and we recommend the Critter. Traditional sprayers only get stuck in. Are brush strokes obvious with milk paint? Usually not. You can usually sand them out. They will be obvious in this because I used primer, and that white primer is thick. You could use our clear primer, and that's a little thinner, but there will be brush strokes in this. And the other thing too is when you add bond to the milk paint, it does make it thicker. If you use just less bond or no primer, you will get less brush strokes and you can sand them out. They lay pretty flat when it's sanded. I'm not afraid of brush strokes. If you want no brush strokes, then you need to be able to sand the milk paint and not have bond in it on your project, or use the cottage color. It's pretty self-leveling. Yeah,
the cottage color, you don't, I mean, if you spray it, it's going to look a factory finish, but even if you brush it, almost no brush strokes.
Okay, I'm going to for sure use these pieces.
Okay, I'm going to give you guys a close-up. Oh, I got some milk paint on that.
Did you get pink where in my face?
How'd that happen?
Maybe you splattered.
Well, I think I set it down over on a clump that didn't get mixed up over here that I brushed off.
Okay, if you're just tuning in, Zeb's using dark oil wax.
Okay, so this one has not been wiped back yet. This one hasn't been waxed at all yet. Okay, here we go.
Oh, I actually like this whole sheet just as is.
And this is the oil wax in dark. It comes in different sizes too. So, you know, if you just have a small project or you want to test it out before you commit to a whole pint, I think this might be 32 ounces. Oh no, this is 16. So pint.
So this whole sheet, I like the layout on that. Even the butterfly
Yeah,
going
just drop
down.
it in.
I'm just going to center it and put that in there. It feels like cheating.
So oil waxed, wiped back. You can leave it on there. I wouldn't leave it on past like 15 minutes, but we didn't want it to go super dark. And you can put multiple coats on. Like once it dries, if you want to add more coats, you can.
I can't believe how quickly you're finishing those. They took me quite a while to stencil. You're like, I'm going to sand these and seal them in no time. All right, I need to find the middle of this though.
I think I'm going to let this one sit a little longer.
I'm painting the bottom of this platter off camera in case anybody's wondering what the heck I'm doing. So it's 22 and a half. That'd be 11 and a quarter. So I might have to. So would you hold this in place for me?
Yes, but I have oil on my hands, so
I just need you to hold that. Just so it doesn't move because it's wanting to flop up.
Oh, so you can drop the center down.
Yeah.
On. Oh,
Stop. Not that deep. Does that look centered to you?
I can't see it from here. I mean, you set it down, so it looks like
it's not touching all the way, so I could move it.
Yeah, it looks good. Looks square on there.
Hold on, move a second. I feel like it needs to go up a little bit. Oh, nope, we're committed.
Down. You're down.
We're committed. Well, it's not perfect. It is what it is. Once this touches down, sometimes you cannot move it. All right. I'm just going to tell you guys, you should probably let your projects dry way longer than I did. I'm being very gentle with how I'm applying this. If I push too hard, this would peel up the paint because it's so fresh. I've done this a lot, so I'm pretty good at it. Most people aren't going to be doing this on live TV.
There's actually quite a few steps that have gone into these little boards between painting.
There's a lot of technique, yeah.
Stenciling. Now they're getting oil waxed, distressing them.
Well, I feel like it's good because, yeah, we're just doing blank boards that I'm going to turn into coat racks, but it shows everybody watching the steps involved to get certain looks, and you can use them on whatever, like whatever it is that you're working on. Somebody the other day was like, I missed when you painted big furniture because I need help painting furniture. The same way we paint these thrift flips, you can do the same techniques on furniture. It's just a larger piece.
Yep.
But spring's coming, and we seem to be selling more large pieces in the shop. And so as we do, we will do more paint on videos of furniture. I wonder what white wax would look like on those. It would make them look kind of oxidized, so they would be pretty.
Do you want to see some white oil wax?
Do we have white oil wax?
Yeah, I found it. I have one here that I can do.
You know what? I don't want to because I'm going to photograph them all together, and I want them to have a uniform look. Sorry.
Uploaded off the island.
Sorry, guys.
Just know that the white oil wax is similar to like a regular white wax. It just isn't quite as, it sits down in the cracks more and wipes off the surface more. So it's more subtle than like white waxing is. There's also a black version of this if you want to go darker and clear.
A lot of times I'll use the clear if I like the color, but I want to add more sealer. I think we used a little clear on our dining table because our dining table is the dark oil wax, white oil wax. I can't remember, it's been so long. Is your cottage color anvil on the black side? It is a soft black, so it's not a black.
It's like a dark charcoal.
Yeah.
Okay. So we showed you no oil wax and wiped back, and this is wiped back oil wax and not wiped back.
Sorry, this is taking me longer because, like I said, this is fresh paint, so I'm having to be very ginger, and I'm kind of like pulling and putting it down at the same time. But I will get this finished, so help me.
Yep. Once these have hooks, they're going to be good.
Yeah, I think those are going to be super cute. And in the meantime, I'm just going to take pictures of them and put them up on the website so people can see the repeating pattern. It's kind of hard to tell what things are going to look like just from the digital mock-up. Paint inlays take a little bit of patience. I like to do like all over inlays. If you're using smaller elements, it does require a little delicacy so you don't get like late lines on the edges. I feel like they go best into DIY paint. That's just my opinion. I've used them in a lot of different applications, but I like inlays in DIY paint.
So this same oil wax is going to go on that high chair that I just painted. And it does richen up that color a little bit, but it's not, it doesn't like completely change it. It just makes it just a little bit darker. I feel like it deepens it. Yeah, it just ages it.
I will take a picture of everything that we do and put it up on social media later today. And then be sure to watch the video that we put up tomorrow because you'll get to see another trellis rose with dark wax project. And a little different because we show you what oil wax looks like on just raw wood as like a stain and sealer in one.
I'm almost done. Calling you.
Oh.
She probably needs money.
Oh. Oh, Delia. Hold on.
Here, we can. Are you done with that?
I'm almost done. Like.
Yeah, just call her back in a minute.
I just text her. Sorry, guys. Yes, I'm still live, Odelia. I love children.
All right.
Sorry, I'm going to be a minute.
You're good.
I'm almost there. Somebody asked if you need to seal milk paint before you put a transfer on it. You don't. Just make sure there's no dust.
Yeah, you really want to make sure all your dust is gone, whether it's DIY paint or any transfer application, really. Just no dust.
It's going to be easier if it's sealed, I feel like, but it's not like necessary.
And you can do a transfer over the oil wax, but I would give that a few days to cure.
I would like till it's all the way cured. If it still smells like oil wax, it's not ready. All right. I'm just going to show you this half because otherwise we're going to be there all day. So, ta-da!
And then the high chair's outside.
And the high chair's outside. But I am going to get this finished. I'm going to lightly distress it. I will paint the back. I might add some more here and there. And then I will seal this either with dark oil wax or like a liquid sealer. If you guys need these paint products, our subscription stencils, or any of the items, you can visit JamiRayVintage.com. And if you like this video, be sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to Jami Ray Vintage for more
DIY
and thrifting. I almost tripped over the stool. We'll see you on the next episode.
Have a great day, guys.